Have you ever felt the weight of solitude press against your chest long before you knew its name? Imagine a child, small and wide-eyed, standing at the edge of a playground where laughter rings like distant bells, close enough to hear, yet impossibly far to touch. You linger there, your shadow stretching thin beneath the sun, as if even light hesitates to embrace you fully. The others run in dizzying circles, their joy a language you strain to decipher, while an invisible wall rises, brick by brick between you and the world. It isn't made of stone or steel, but of sidelong glances, half-finished invitations, and the quiet ache of being seen without ever being known. Did you, too, learn to smile through that wall, your reflection warped by its translucent surface, until the face you wore for others became a mask you forgot to remove? Childhood's isolation is a silent apprenticeship. You master the art of folding yourself smaller, quieter, softer, anything to avoid the crushing weight of too much or not enough. But the walls you build to protect yourself grow taller with time, hardening into a fortress that no one thinks to breach. Years pass, and the world moves around you, a blur of connections that slip through your fingers like smoke. You carry the burden of your own existence like a second skeleton, an invisible architecture of shame and longing. What is heavier, the solitude itself, or the certainty that it's all you deserve? The weight settles deeper, morphing into a companion you never chose. It curls around your shoulders in empty rooms, hums in the static of unanswered messages, and paints the sky a perpetual twilight even at noon. You learn to walk with it, this ghostly ballast, as it whispers that belonging is a country you'll never map. But here's the cruelest twist. The more you bear it, the more it convinces others you want to carry it alone. They mistake your endurance for strength, your silence for peace. When did the act of surviving your solitude become its own kind of prison? And yet, what if the wall isn't a barrier, but a bridge? What if the weight you've dragged across years is not an anchor, but the dormant pulse of a heart learning to beat in a rhythm only you recognize? The child who once stood at the edge still lives inside you, not as a wound, but as a witness. They know the exact shade of the sky before a storm, the poetry of dust motes in slanting light, the raw beauty of existing in a world that hasn't yet named you, broken. Isn't it time to ask if the fortress was ever meant to keep you in, or the world out? Like Joseph, you have faced betrayal. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, left for dead by those who should have stood beside him. You, too, have known the sting of disloyalty. Perhaps you trusted a friend who turned against you, a family member who abandoned you, or a colleague who undermined you. Yet, like Joseph, you are not defined by your suffering. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Genesis 50:22. What others intended for harm, God is using to shape you for something greater. Like Joseph, you have been forgotten. He languished in prison, seemingly cast aside, his dreams buried beneath the weight of unjust accusations. You too have had seasons where it felt like no one saw your pain, where your prayers seemed unanswered, where your hope wavered under the silence of heaven. But Joseph's story did not end in darkness, and neither does yours. The same God who raised Joseph from the prison to the palace is working behind the scenes in your life. Your breakthrough is coming. Like David, you have faced giants. He stood before Goliath, a shepherd boy, against a warrior, armed with nothing but faith and a slingshot. You too have stood before challenges that seemed insurmountable. Financial struggles, health crises, broken relationships, overwhelming fear. The world told you that you were not enough, that the odds were against you. But like David, you do not fight in your own strength. The battle is the Lord's, 1 Samuel 17:4-7. The same God who guided David's stone to strike down the giant is guiding you now. Your enemy may be fierce, but your God is greater. Like David, you have been pursued. Saul hunted him relentlessly, trying to destroy him before he could step into his calling. You, too, have felt the pressure of opposition. People who envy you, circumstances that try to break you, thoughts that tell you to give up. But David did not surrender to fear. He held on to God's promise. And so must you. What God has ordained for you, no enemy can steal. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. You have been wounded, but you are not defeated. You have been tested, but you are not broken. You have walked through fire, but you are still standing. If Joseph could rise from betrayal to power, if David could ascend from exile to the throne, then surely you too will walk into your destiny. Your past does not define you. Your trials do not limit you. The same God who was with Joseph in the pit and with David in the wilderness is with you now. Rise up, stand firm. The purpose of God in your life is greater than any obstacle before you. Keep pressing forward, for we are more than conquerors through him who loved us, Romans 8:37. Let me ask you this, what if your pain is not a prison but a forge? What if the very trials crushing you are the same fires that will purify your purpose, temper your resilience, and carve you into something unbreakable? Hear this truth now, straight from the furnace of human experience. You are not being buried. You are being planted. You are not being burned. You are being refined. Every tear, every loss, every moment that cracks your heart wide open is not evidence of your defeat, but the alchemy of your ascension. This is the paradox of suffering. It is the fire that melts away the dross to reveal the gold within you. It is the dark soil that suffocates the seed only to force it to erupt into a towering tree. And if you doubt this, look no further than the story of Job, the man who lost everything, yet emerged not just restored, but reverberating with legacy. Picture gold in its raw form, dull, impure, riddled with imperfections, but when thrust into the crucible, subjected to relentless flames, it doesn't disintegrate, no. The fire reveals its true nature. The heat liquefies the ore, separating weakness from worth, until what remains is a substance so radiant, so indestructible, it becomes the standard of value for civilizations. You are that gold. Your struggles are not here to destroy you, they're here to define you. When life turns up the heat, when the flames lick at your dreams and the smoke blinds your vision, remember, fire does not exist to annihilate gold. It exists to unleash it. You are not destroyed. You are being refined. Say it aloud until your bones believe it. Scream it into the void until the void trembles. This is your anthem. Now, let's talk about seeds. A seed buried in darkness isn't a tragedy. It's a prerequisite. That tiny, fragile shell must be suffocated by dirt, starved of light, drenched in the pressure of storms before it splits open and claws its way toward the sun. The very forces meant to crush it become the catalyst for its metamorphosis. What starts as a burial ends in a breakthrough. A sapling becomes a trunk, then a colossus, roots digging deep into the scars of the earth, branches stretching wide enough to shelter generations. Your pain is that seed. Your heartache is that soil. The weight you carry isn't here to bury you. It's here to build you. You think you're stuck? You're rooting. You think you're broken? You're blooming. The greatest trees on this earth didn't grow in greenhouses. They weathered hurricanes. Let's not tiptoe around this. You are in the middle of your job season. You know the story. The man who had it all out, wealth, family, health, honor. Then, in a single day, it was ripped away, his children dead, his body ravaged, his friends turned accusers, his wife begging him to curse God and die. Yet Job did something radical. He raged, he wept. He demanded answers from the heavens. He didn't spiritualize his pain, he wrestled with it. And here's the miracle. God didn't silence him. He honored Job's audacity to confront the mystery of suffering. And when the storm passed, Job wasn't just given back double what he lost. He became a living testament to resurrection power. His latter days were greater than his beginning. Why? Because suffering had stretched him. It had hollowed out spaces in his soul for wisdom, humility, and a faith that could not be shaken. You see, friend, your pain is not random. It's not punishment. It's preparation. The fire you're in is not here to consume you. It's here to consecrate you. The darkness you're fighting isn't a curse. It's the cocoon. Job's story isn't about a God who inflicts suffering for sport. It's about a God who trusts you with the refiner's fire, because he sees the gold you cannot yet perceive. When he allows you to be stripped, it's not to leave you empty, it's to make room for more. More strength, more compassion, more authority. The world will tell you that your trials are proof of your inadequacy. God is whispering, no, they're proof of your destiny. Let's get raw for a moment. You've been lied to. You've been told that if you pray enough, hustle enough, smile enough, you'll bypass the fire. But that's a fairy tale. The truth is, gold requires the flame. Seeds require the dark. Giants like Job require the pit. There's no resurrection without a crucifixion. No crown without a cross. So stop apologizing for your struggle. Stop shrinking from the heat. You think you're being punished. You're being promoted. That thing you're facing, the betrayal, the diagnosis, the dream that died, it's not your end, it's your initiation. Here's the kicker. The same pressure that could crush you is the same pressure that will create you. Diamonds don't form on mountaintops. They're forged in the belly of the earth under tectonic agony. You want to shine, then you must endure the squeeze. You want to rise, then you must embrace the weight. This is the sacred law of metamorphosis. To become, you must first be undone. To fly, you must first surrender to the fall. Look at the seed again. When it's buried, it doesn't argue with the dirt. It doesn't negotiate with the darkness. It focuses every ounce of its being on one thing breaking open. It lets the soil's pressure crack its shell. It lets the rot around it become its fertilizer. It pushes through the dirt not with arrogance, but with dogged persistence. And one day, when the time is right, it punches through the surface, not as a seed, but as a shoot, then a sapling, then a titan. That's your story. Your season of burial is not a death sentence. It's a birthing room. The things meant to suffocate you are the same forces that will propel you. So let me say it again. You are not destroyed. You are being refined. Your tears are not weakness. They're the water nurturing the seed. Your scars are not shame. They're the proof you survived the fire. Your story isn't over. It's being etched in eternity. Job's restoration didn't erase his pain. It redeemed it. His suffering became the soil for a legacy that still speaks centuries later. And you are standing in your own job moment. This is your crucible. This is your dirt. This is your time to rise, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. I need you to do something radical. Thank the fire. Thank the darkness. Thank the process that feels like it's killing you, because it's actually recreating you. The gold doesn't resent the flame. It knows the flame is its path to brilliance. The seed doesn't curse the soil. It knows the soil is its path to sunlight. And you don't have to fear the storm. It's your path to strength. Wrap your arms around the pain and whisper, do your worst. I'll give you my best. Because here's the secret. The refiner doesn't take his eyes off the gold. The gardener doesn't abandon the seed. And the God who walked with Job through the fire, he's walking with you now. Act as if you believe it. Stand up, shake off the dirt, and declare, I am not a victim. I am a vessel. This fire will not break me, it will make me. Let your roots dig deeper. Let your branches reach higher. Let your life become a testament to what happens when unyielding faith collides with unrelenting trials. The world needs your gold. The world needs your tree. The world needs you, refined, unshakable, radiant. So go ahead, step into your metamorphosis. The flame is your friend. The dark is your ally and your comeback. It's already written. All you have to do is rise. There comes a time in life when you must decide, will you stay where it is safe or will you step forward and lead? This is not a question of convenience, but of calling. The world is full of people content with comfort, but history, and more importantly, faith, teaches us that true impact belongs to those who dare to lead, to step into the unknown, and to trust that God is with them. The question is, will you be one of them? Many choose safety, and it is easy to understand why. Safety means predictability. It means fewer risks, less discomfort, and fewer chances of failure. But it also means less growth, less faith, and less impact. Leaders are not those who seek comfort. but those who seek purpose. They are the ones who take up the mantle, even when fear whispers that they are not enough. God knew that fear would try to grip the hearts of those he calls to lead. That is why he spoke directly to Joshua, a man who had every reason to be afraid. Moses, the great leader of Israel, had died. The weight of leading an entire nation into the promised land now rested on Joshua's shoulders. Imagine the pressure, the uncertainty, the temptation to stay put, to let someone else take charge. But then came God's command, not a suggestion, but a charge. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Saw Joshua 1:9. This was not just encouragement. It was a divine mandate. God was not asking Joshua to be fearless. He was commanding him to be strong, to lead to trust. And Joshua obeyed. He stepped forward, led his people across the Jordan River, and claimed the land God had promised them. What if he had chosen safety instead? What if he had let fear dictate his actions? The story of Israel would have been different. What about you? Are you standing at the edge of your Jordan River, hesitating, wondering if you should step forward or stay where you are? Maybe God is calling you to start something new, to speak out, to take responsibility, to guide others. But fear is telling you to wait, to retreat, to let someone else do it. But here's the truth. If God has called you, then he will equip you. Your strength does not come from your abilities alone. It comes from the one who goes before you. Think about Peter stepping out of the boat. The storm was raging, and safety was in staying where he was. But Jesus was out on the water calling him forward. Peter had a choice, cling to security or step into faith. And for a moment, he walked on water. He did what was impossible until he took his eyes off Jesus. That is the key. Leadership, courage, stepping into the unknown. It is only possible when we keep our focus on the one who calls us. We need leaders now more than ever. We need people willing to stand for truth, to guide others, to walk boldly in faith. The world is filled with hesitation, with people waiting for someone else to go first. But what if you are meant to be that person? What if you are the one God is calling to lead? You might feel unqualified. You might feel like someone else would do it better. But let me remind you of something. Moses stuttered. David was just a shepherd boy. Esther was afraid, and Peter was impulsive. Yet God used them, not because they were perfect, but because they were willing. So I ask you again, will you stay safe, or will you step forward? Will you let fear hold you back, or will you trust that God is with you, just as he was with Joshua? This world needs leaders, not spectators. It needs people who will say, or I am, Lord, send me. It needs you. Be strong. Be courageous. Step forward. Because the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. You have been told what to believe. Since the day you were born, the world has whispered in your ear, what is possible, what is impossible, what you can be, what you cannot be. They have built walls around your mind, chains around your soul, and called it reality. But I tell you now, it is a lie. The world you see is not all there is. You were made for more than this shallow existence, this endless cycle of fear, survival, and conformity. It is time to awaken. Look around you. Can you not feel it? The emptiness in the hearts of those who chase after power, money, and approval, believing these things will bring them peace, yet finding only deeper hunger. The systems of this world promise freedom, but give only chains, promise wisdom, but spread deception. They distract you, dull you, blind you to the truth. But there is a light, and once you see it, you can never return to darkness. Nelson Mandela saw the truth. For 27 years, they locked him away in a prison cell, thinking they had silenced him, broken him, stripped him of power. But the man who walked out of that prison was stronger than the one who had entered. Because even in the darkest confinement, he had seen the light of something greater. He saw that true power is not in walls, not in chains, not in the lies men tell to control each other. True power is in the spirit of those who refuse to be ruled by fear. He did not bow to the illusion of defeat. He shattered it. And because he saw the truth, he led others to see it too. And now, what about you? Have you accepted the world's version of reality without question? Have you lived under the weight of expectations that were never meant to be yours? Have you played the role they gave you, wearing a mask, speaking their words, following their path, when all along a fire was burning inside of you, whispering, "This is not all there is. The truth is this: you were created for something eternal. You were not made to be just another name in the system, another shadow among millions. No, you were meant to shine. You were meant to break the mold, to rise beyond what they told you was possible, to step into the reality of something greater. And to do that, you must see the world for what it is, not as a master to obey, but as a veil to be torn away. There is a reason why the greatest revolutions, the greatest movements, the greatest awakenings in history began with those who dared to open their eyes. They saw beyond what was given to them. They saw the deception of the world and refused to live by it. They walked into the fire, into the unknown, not because it was safe, but because it was true. This is your moment. The light is breaking through the darkness, and you must decide, will you turn away, retreating into the comfort of familiar chains? Or will you step forward? Will you awaken? Will you finally see? Because once you do, nothing will ever be the same again. You stand at the precipice of your own liberation, the wind of change roaring in your ears, urging you to leap into the vastness of your God-given potential. This is not a moment for hesitation. This is your moment to rise. Picture the chains that have bound your wrists for years, the lies that have whispered not enough, the fears that have anchored you to the shore of what if. Now imagine shattering them with a single defiant breath. Galatians 5:1 thunders is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. Do you hear the ferocity in those words? This is not a passive invitation. It's a decree written in fire. You were crafted for sovereignty, not subjugation. You were born to reign over your doubts, not bow to them. So why linger in the cage when the door hangs wide open? Let me speak plainly. The world has tried to shrink you, to dim your light with its noise. But I see the wildfire in your spirit, the unquenchable holy flame that refuses to die. You are not a beggar pleading for scraps of courage. You are a warrior armored in purpose, and the battlefield is your soul. Every lie you've swallowed, every dream you've postponed, every time you've bitten back your truth. It ends here. Today you choose to stop surviving and start thriving. You choose to stop apologizing for the space you occupy and instead expand it unashamed until the earth trembles with the weight of your presence. This is your divine inheritance. Claim it. I need you to understand your voice is not a whisper lost in the wind. It is a war cry that splits mountains. Your story is not a footnote. It's a manifesto. When you declare, I step into my power, you are not merely uttering words. You are summoning angels. You are rattling the gates of hell. You are telling the universe, watch me rise. This is the sacred contract between you and the God who breathed galaxies into being. He has handed you the keys to your freedom, but you must turn the lock. You must walk through. So I'm asking you, no, I'm challenging you to stop reading and start roaring. Look in the mirror and see the giant staring back, not the shadow you've tolerated. Feel the ancient power in your veins, the same force that carved canyons and lit the stars. This is who you are. This is who you've always been. The time for hiding is over. The world doesn't need another echo. It needs your voice, your light, your unbridled truth. And it needs them now. Don't you dare scroll past this. Don't you dare mute the spirit stirring in your chest. This is your Damascus Road moment, your chance to shed the grave clothes of fear and step into resurrection life. Type it now. I step into my power. Let those 5 words be the match that ignites the bonfire of your destiny. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Every revolution begins with a single act of defiance, and this is yours. Comment those words now. Not for me, but for you. For the child who once dreamed wildly. For the future generations who will trace their courage back to your bravery today. We are not meant to crawl. We are meant to soar. So let's rise together. Let's flood these comments with a symphony of liberation, a chorus of "I step into my power" that drowns out every lie, every chain, every ounce of shame. Let's turn this space into an altar where fear is burned and freedom is born. The God of Moses, of Esther, of David, the God who parts seas and topples giants, is roaring through you. Now, today, do not let this moment pass. Your chains are broken. Your wings are ready. The sky is waiting. Comment now. I step into my power. And watch the world bend to meet your glory.